he didn't have any glasses or whatever, so he just found the nearest two things and started like clinking them together, and it kind of became a bitch.
Yeah.
Right. And you know, like, yes, lest the Longbox Crusade ever goes without a bit or whatever. So anyways, we've been live for 19 seconds now. So if you want to go ahead, sir, you can go ahead and start bottle clinking. Official bottles, y'all. New Warriors, come out to play. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Come Out to Play. It is me, Delvin. It is him, Jared. Wait, that's not Jared. That is
different J name. I get that a lot, though. I get that a lot.
That's right. Like, well, you know what? Like for Delvin, a six letter, 2-syllable name, I have been called so many names under the sun. So like I can relate to you there, like because I would wonder how anyone could mess up Jason, but then Jason does have different spellings in itself, right?
There's a Y version of it out there with a Y in it, which I'm not that. I'm just the traditional spelling, as you can see. But I've been called Justin. I've been called Jared. I've been called all of that, and then the people that shorten it to one syllable, they can't possibly just say 2 syllables, Jason. They have to call me Jay. Yo, Jay, what's up? Hey, Jay. I'm like, did I say my name was Jay? No, it's Jason. So
that's unbelievable. Like no, it's all too believable. And
you get called Del. Does anybody call you Del?
Some people have tried to make that work, and it's like, nah, I don't really want that to work.
It's never caught on.
It's never caught on. I have like D sometimes, but mostly I have gone nickname free for like the entirety of the 45 years I've had on this earth, and I don't mind that. Like I don't need a nickname. I'm perfectly fine with Delvin because most people are like, oh, that's a unique name, and like,
yeah, it's distinctive. Yeah,
it's like, yeah, I made it up. I had nothing to do with it, but nevertheless, I'm still glad to have it.
Now, Delvin, with my last name, you got to imagine all the jokes I've heard, all the songs that have been sung to me. Dude looks like a lady. Lady in Red, Lady by Lima Richie. I've heard every single one that's been sung to me.
So I'm lucky there, right? Last name Williams, and like if say I am talking to someone on the phone, and they're like, "What's your first name?" And at this point, I'm like, Delvin, Delvin, and it's like, "Okay, what's your last name?" Williams, and I just say Williams, and they're like, "Oh, okay," and I'm like, Williams has more letters, and it's not necessarily phonetically spelled.
Yes.
How?
Yeah.
Like we are. This is not Complain About Names cast.
This is the name podcast. Yeah, the Complain About Your Name podcast.
It is New Warriors come out to play, and I'm saying hello to Linkovich, saying hello to A Comic Foil, saying hello to Jim Meal. Hello, everyone. And I'll just get started with this script that I had to modify. If you're new to the show, welcome. Come out and play with us as we talk about Marvel Comics, The New Warriors. And let me introduce, well, normally I got Jared Albrecht, but Jared is not here. And I will give kudos to Jared because Jared is attending a show right now for both of his sons who are doing singing recitals. And I don't know if you knew this or not, Jason, but both of his sons are 2 of my godsons. So, yes.
Man.
Yeah, Jared wanted to keep me close, and that is certainly a way to do it. Having both of his boys become my godsons, and so yes, my oldest godson Jason, my oldest godson Jordan, and my youngest godson Jay, because I have 3 actually. They are both singing Christmas. So wait a minute, and I will do Jared even the favor of I asked what songs he was singing, so pardon me for bringing the phone up, but he said his oldest is singing 2 Front Teeth, all I want for Christmas is my 2 front teeth, and Old, I don't know what Old is that I guess that's a Christmas song of some sort, I don't know. Toy Trains, Fruitcake, Rudolph, and Christmas Isn't Canceled.
I know Rudolph. I don't know the others. Yeah.
I don't know the others either. I mentioned
like that's what I don't know.
Yeah, like at the time, Jordan actually had the phone, and so I told him, I was like, I don't know if you know this, but Fruitcake was Jared's nickname in college, but then by that time Jared had the phone back, and he neither confirmed nor denied that. In any event, normally Jared would be here, and now we have Jason Lady here. And Jason, I don't know if you prepared a question for me or not, as the script would say.
Oh, on the fly today, during a work meeting while I was daydreaming. Yep.
Go for it. What is the question?
All right. So the New Warriors issue that we're going to talk about today has as a central plot point a stealing of a vehicle, right? They steal one of the Avengers' planes in the course of this story, one of their Quinjets, the New Warriors do. And so what is your favorite, either stealing a vehicle or hijacking a vehicle movie, focus on movies, that you can think of? What's your favorite?
Oh, my goodness. How about Bullet Train?
Oh, okay. I've actually never seen it. I've never seen it.
The original Bullet Train, they were hijacking the Bullet Train that's in Japan. And why did I watch? Did I watch this for Action Film Face Off, which is on the network? I think so. Because Lord knows Jared has gotten me into all sorts of stuff. So it's either that or another train related one would be The Taking of Pelham 123, which was listed as an action movie, but wasn't really an action movie. But both of those movies involved a subway train heist, and both of them were good in their own way. So go figure.
I've gotten 2 movie recommendations out of this. I've never seen either one. So there you go.
Well, both of them were really good in their own ways. You seem like you haven't answered for that question yourself.
Yeah, I do have an answer for it. Looks like in the comments, Courtney says Indiana Jones comes to mind. I guess thinking of maybe taking over the tank in the 3rd movie, The Last Crusade. She's also might be what she's thinking of. Gone in 60 Seconds too, she's suggesting. So those are also solid. So for me, I'm a big fan of Star Trek 3, The Search for Spock, where they steal the Enterprise to go rescue Spock. That is an awesome scene. It just slow, dramatic. They're pulling the ship out. They don't know if the doors are going to open in time. Scotty's trying to hack in, open the doors. So good. The music is so tense. That's a good one. That's good stuff right there. So I'd say that's probably my favorite. Yeah.
Fantastic. Welcome, New Warriors Talk also. And as well as Courtney, you already brought her into the chat too. Thank y'all so much for being here. And that was a good question. And I'm glad it was one that I had an answer ready for, because usually when it's movie related, I feel so inadequate. I didn't grow up watching movies as a kid. Not a ton anyway.
Yeah.
No, it's okay. We're here learning things about each other, Jason. Trey, don't worry about being late, my friend. We're glad that you are here at all.
You haven't missed much, Trey.
You missed all sorts of things, but nothing about New Warriors.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So there is that. I have some more boilerplate to read. If you are watching our live stream and you haven't subscribed to our channel yet, Longbox Crusade, please take the time to do so. And if I'm already imposing, if you could do me one more solid and hit that like button for me as well, I would love you forever and ever. Amen. Thank you. Come Out to Play is a chronicling of the 1990 series, The New Warriors. The first volume of New Warriors ran 75 issues. Jason and I will cover all of the first volume as I rediscover my love for the series and share our love and joy with the listening audience. Grab your skateboards, grab your bucket helmets. It is time to play. The issue we will be covering today is New Warriors issue 22. Cover credits go to Mark Bagley and Larry Malstead. And normally, folks, we would have the art that comes up and stuff. That's generally Jared's department. And I can't say Jared slack because he was not going to be able to be here, but he usually gets that stuff from Marvel Unlimited. I don't have Marvel Unlimited. I do have the copies. So if you want to take a look at the cover, here it is. Like, we are showing off our New Warriors bona fides by just showing the cover here on the screen at present. And so Jason and I are about to talk about it. Jason, what do you think about the cover?
So I'll try to hold it up here while I talk about it. So
don't get your arm tired.
What's that? Higher?
Don't get your arm tired.
Oh, I'll try not to. Yeah, it's a heavy comic. I like this cover. It's a good representation of all the people on it. I like the black background with like the orange box around them. I think it really makes the figures on the cover pop. And there's automatically intrigue with this cover because you've had a pretty stable lineup and group of characters through this entire series. And suddenly, whoa, there's Darkhawk and Rage with the team. And it says at the top, Darkhawk and Rage, the top there says they join the new Warriors. There's a lineup change happening. Automatically, you're like, whoa, what's going on here? So that is intriguing. Something I think is funny is that, I don't know if you can see Namorita there. She kind of looks like she's shoving Darkhawk and Rage out of the way. That's what it looks like. She's kind of doing this. Get out of my way. That's kind of what it looks like. Yeah. I don't think that was their intent, but that's how it looks. So, yeah, I dig it. I like it. It drew my eye back in the day.
Nice. And as for me, well, real quick, a comic foil was still thinking about the question that you asked, Jason, and said the first thought was Speed 2. Don't SMH about it. I'd be on your movie. I don't think I ever watched Speed 2. I know it had Jason Patrick in it. Why do I know it had Jason Patrick in it? And I never watched the movie.
That is so
anyway. I know a bunch of random stuff, dude. So the cover, it's a generally likable cover. And I actually, they didn't go with any background, but it's not like Bagley and Malstead skimped on any of the characters. And I like that, you had a display of Darkhawk. And for Jason Albrecht, once he hears this, it's Dark Hawk. Okay. Darkhawk and Rage. And so, I mean, we haven't seen them on a cover of the New Warriors before. So it's cool that they're there in a new team photo. And so you're like, if you have been following New Warriors, you might be wondering, well, why the heck are they being introduced to the team? And that answer is brought forth to you once you read the book. Why the heck would they need Darkhawk and Rage when they have Firestar and they have Marvel Boy and they have Night Thrasher? Like, why would they need the extra firepower? And you get that answer. So I do like that they were introduced as main characters of the book on the cover, and you find out the reasons why. Mm-hmm. As always, let us know what you think about the cover. We'll show it to you one more time so you get it etched in your memory. Here, let us know what you think about the cover. And lest we forget that Night Thrasher is there on the bottom as well.
Oh, because just his head. Yep, his head.
Yeah, just his head. But I do like that they brought him. Like, so if you had the question, like, what, is Night Thrasher not a part of the team? Well, of course, he's still a part of the team, even though he disbanded the team. But they're still part of the team. I've said team a lot. And so now, like, you might want to figure out what the heck happened to Night Thrasher, which the answers could be revealed as well. Jim mentions that he is a big Darkhawk fan. I am too. I will boast that I have the first 50 issues of the original run. I hear they have a new run out, and I'm actually surprised that I don't have a local comic book store. I go through Atomic Empire out of Raleigh. And they've mailed me my books for years and years. And I'm surprised that they weren't like, dude, do you want to get Darkhawk? And I'd be like, yeah. So now I'm going to have to go and look up back issues to see about this new run. I know it's a new character, but it's still Darkhawk, which is cool. And I'm glad that they brought him back. Mm-hmm. I think it's a different character.
Yeah. I'm not a huge fan of the kind of cosmic way they took Darkhawk. I like him as kind of a street fighting hero. So I haven't read any of the new stuff with him. I might have to admit.
Interesting. They did Nova eventually the same way, right? Mm-hmm. Nova was street level, and then now he's like the cosmic guy, which I don't know. Like, in my mind, if they ever brought New Warriors back, like, they'd have to depower him so he could just be street level again.
He's just like, so far beyond the other. He's one of the Guardians of the Galaxy. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. I mean, he's not OP. I mean, he is from what I understand, he now has the power of the entire Nova Corps. So that would be like the equivalent of Green Lantern having the entire power of the Green Lantern Corps. Can't really confine that to Earth now, can you? So
no. There's kind of Silver Surfer level, you're going for there. And that's kind of hard to do in a team, because he's going to dominate every fight and no one else will get to do anything,
Right. Let's see. Got some chat about Marvel Boy being mentioned in the blurb at the bottom. He was. If we were given a cover description like we would, like, there is Darkhawk and Rage join the New Warriors. Jason mentioned that. And then there's a Nothing But the Truth part 1, because this is part 1 of a very awesome storyline. And at the bottom, it says plus Marvel Boy on trial. And it says plus Night Thrasher's quest for his past. And then it also mentions, it makes me smile too, because I got like the comic shop cover. It mentions the 30th anniversary of the Amazing Spider-Man. So I'm like, oh my God.
That's pretty cool. Yeah.
That means Spidey is 60 now. Spider-Man's 60 years old. Oh my goodness. All right. So we've got some Darkhawk talk going on. Linkovich mentions I got Darkhawk 50 at a decent price earlier this year. Finished my run. That's awesome. And Darkhawk 50, I know, is worth a little bit of coin because it was not printed as much. It had a limited print run because I guess it just wasn't as popular towards the end of the run. So Darkhawk 50 is worth a little bit of money.
Good to
Trey Black. Trey Black mentions, I so want a classic Warriors reunion. Man, on the New Warriors page.
Me too.
Marvel, man, it's if Fabian Nicieza, who's still around, and Mark Bagley, who's still around. I don't know about Larry Malstead, but I'm sure he's still around too. If they came back together and did a New Warriors, like I might actually shed tears. It would be.
I'd be all over that.
Yeah, I'd be all over it. Scott, welcome to the chat, Scott. Scott says, I read and enjoyed Darkhawk thoroughly through the full run, but he was at his best in the first 2 years or so. Once Manley left, it lost a bit in my view. Mark Manley could draw some Darkhawk. He's all moody and cool looking.
Yeah, in the shadows.
I gotta go through
and stuff around him. Yeah.
Man, y'all keep this up. I'm going to do a Darkhawk cast as well.
Darkhawk cast instead.
And a comic foil said, no, still got to do New Warriors, but I'll do New Warriors and Dark. Don't get me started. And that new 5-issue Darkhawk was actually a really good reboot. I like to see more. See, I have not read that yet, a comic foil, so I'm going to have to just find it somewhere. I'm sure some local comic book store I got nearby has it because there's plenty in Charlotte, which is a great thing. And maybe I just need to go and say, hey, y'all got that Darkhawk? And surely they would, bundle up and give it to me.
Yeah.
I would pay for it.
If you're a true fan, Delvin, you got to do it.
I got to do it. And, I got money to burn, apparently. Like I'm just super, super loaded. I'm actually in like a 5-story house right now. Michael Jackson would be envious. We should talk about.
Yeah.
Palatial estate. That's not even a Longbox headquarters. We should rate this comic book. 1 to 10 nightsticks. That's what we do here at Come Out to Play. And I will hold it up while Jason gives his rating.
So I give this one an 8 out of 10. It draws the eye. It does make you intrigued. It does make you kind of wonder. So it does its job. It makes you curious about the story inside. What's going on here? What's up with Rage and Darkhawk being on the cover? I think it's well composed. 8 out of 10 just because I think it's good. It does its job. It's not like spectacular, blowing me away, but it's good. It's really good. So 8 out of 10 for me.
I'm with you on 8 out of 10. I think it's Bagley good. Like they didn't have them doing some like in action or whatever, even though like you can imagine that like it would make me wonder almost. It's like, even though they didn't fight anyone in this issue, they were just assembling the team. Like who would they be getting ready to fight? Like, and that's cool because it looks like they're heading towards like maybe fighting another super team or heading out into action somewhere. So that is cool. And all the characters, because it's Mark Bagley, was well drawn. So it gets an 8 for me. We got a couple of ratings already. Thanks for that, ladies and gentlemen in the audience. A comic foil gave it a 7. Nice callback to issue 1, but doesn't break any new ground. And Trey also gave it a 7 out of 10. Says great art, but nothing dynamic. And so they are about the same level as we are, except we are a bit more optimistic. I'm going to have you pick up the optimism level in listening audience. We're all about positivity here.
Yeah, really. Especially when it comes to New
Warriors. Especially when it comes to New Warriors.
Less than an
Jason, do you have the script up, Jason?
Yeah, I got it right here.
Would you like to read the credits for the issue?
Yeah, sure. Let's see. All right. So credits for New Warriors number 22. Here we go. It was on sale. It was on sale January 28th, 1992. I was in 9th grade then. Cover date was March 1992. The cover price is only $1.25. What a deal, right? The story is Fabian Nicieza. Is that how you say his last name? Nicieza?
I think it's Nicieza.
Nicieza. Okay, Fabian Nicieza. Pencils, Mark Bagley. Inks by Larry Malstadt. Colors by Joe Rojas. And letters by Joe Rosen. And the editor is Danny Fingeroff. Thanks to Mike's Amazing World.
Thank you very much for that, Jason. A few more ratings. Scott O'Neill gave it an 8 out of 10. Says, I like that Bags kept it simple. This was the first seeming shake-up to the roster in 2 years, so the focus was on the surprise adds and subtractions in the lineup.
Yeah.
Scott, as always, with the good points. And Comic Forge said, LOL 7 is not bad. No, it's not. I'm just ribbing you, my friend.
Right.
And somebody, 08 Scott, also had a comment about Mike Manley's artwork of his artwork was like the Guyver cross with Pulp 50's detective movie. Yeah, it was gritty. It was cool. I don't know if you saw any of his early stuff or not, Jason, but it's worth looking at. It really is. It was
okay.
Stuff.
I got to check it out. I'm not too familiar with his work. Scott said further back in the chat, talking about where you're at, where you're living, he says you're not loaded until you're living in the penthouse of the Ambrose building, which is where Night Thrasher lives.
Touche. I am not that loaded. I mean, my man has a whole building. So, all right, let's get to the synopsis. The title of this book is The Stolen Children. Fabian and Mark and company packed a lot into this issue. I usually scroll through the book while I do my reviews, but for a change of pace, I'm just going to go off of rote memory while I'm writing this, and Jason and I can cover down on the blanks. Night Thrasher was coerced into joining the Folding Circle, and they're making their way to a temple in Cambodia to fulfill a pact. What pact? IDK. Okay, I do K, but I ain't telling. The Warriors are depleted and add 2 faces to the roster, Rage and Dark Hawk. And Ty is probably happy about that because she needs the Warriors to stop whatever the heck is going on in Cambodia, which I do K about, but I ain't telling. But we are going to talk about this issue, though. So, Jason, we bring up highs and lows and stuff about the issue. And again, apologies. I don't have the screenshots for you guys, but if there's something that's super important, we can just flash it and show you guys, and we will roll from there. But Jason, do you have a high or low?
Sure. Something's a little bit of a low or just kind of raises questions, and I hate to start out on a little more of a negative note. It's just funny with the that's cool, right? The Folding Circle at the beginning, they're talking to Night Thrasher, and they're like, "How dare you question us?" And they're smacking him around stuff. And then the left hand mentions the pact, and Night Thrasher's like on the ground, like all messed up, bloody. He's like, "What's the pact?" And I'm like, "Why don't you guys just lead with that? Just walk in, be calm, and be like, hey, Dwayne, there's this thing called the pact. Let's sit down and talk." Instead, they're just like smacking him around, beating him up. Come on, guys,
Dwayne, they mentioned, was knocked out for 14 hours.
He did say
woke up 5 minutes later, and left hand's like smack. Like, are you trying to kill the man? He was basically concussed. That's not how you treat a concussion.
That's a brain trauma from somebody.
Right. I mean, because they beat his butt last issue. They just, completely just smacked him around, and then immediately just go back to the smacking again. So Dwayne is.
They wake him up with the smiling tiger's claws in his face too. I'm like, man,
that just looks dangerous, doesn't it? Like, my goodness, I would be interested in what this pact is too. I mean, because it was at least enough that they were so determined to have Dwayne in there that they were willing to just completely brutalize him and kidnap him and take him to Cambodia in order to
around the world.
Around the world in order to fulfill this thing. So clearly it was something that important. And what I like about it as well is, Midnight's Fire. I need to come up with a good analogy for Midnight's Fire. That's the latest color for the Toyota Tundra. Midnight's Fire, who's kind of like, in a sense, Dwayne's twin brother, not literally, but, he called him his mirror brother and kind of just said something that's kind of, been emblematic with the New Warriors. He asked Dwayne, tell me you wouldn't do anything to find out the truth, even if it means dealing with the devil himself. And, and at first, I mean, and it stopped, and I love it. Like, very well said. And then there's a pause there with Dwayne, and then he says, I'm in, because that's been a thing with the Warriors, and not just with Dwayne. Like, a couple of issues back, Gideon was beating the crap out of them, and was kind of like, who are you to say that you are better than me? It's like, okay, I'm going to give you this information that you need. Right. And
you're the ones who broke into my house and attacked me. Like, I didn't do anything to you.
And basically made Marvel Boy kind of like the moral compass of the teams. Like, admit that you aren't any better than me, and I'll give you the information, and I'll stop this punishment and torture that I'm giving you. And Marvel Boy had to say, we're not. We're not any better than you are. So that's a theme that Fabian has kept going, and I really do think that's cool.
Ongoing theme of this entire series with this team. Absolutely.
Let's see. Got a few comments. Scott says he wakes up the second time and thinks that his name is Tua Tagovailoa. I'm not going to laugh at that, even though it's very funny. Do you watch sports, Jason? Football? By any chance?
Baseball. Yeah.
Oh, see, if Google Tua's name, you might get a very dark laugh at that. Okay. Let's see. And New Warriors Talk says, very truly, the Marvel universe does not allow for calm conversations. No, not often. No, they do not.
They're fraught with drama. There's lots of drama. People yelling, especially in the 90s, right? Especially 90s comics.
Oh, yeah. This was probably the closest that we can get to a nuanced conversation, especially in the 90s, especially in the Marvel universe. Right. What do you have next, Jason? Do you have another high or low?
Let's see, a couple of highs with the art, some really nice details that popped out. There's this whole scene where Ty is healing, I guess, kind of healing Cord in the hospital. She had his hand on him, energy flashing everywhere. And you can tell it's painful for him, even though he can't express it verbally. He can't scream or anything. But there's this detail on the page. If you can see that, if I can line this up with my camera, his hand gripping the bed sheet, just like you can tell that this is a hard thing for Cord to experience. And that's a nice detail. I don't think every writer or artist, would necessarily think to put something like that in there, but it really sells to the reader that what she's doing to him is a big strain for her, but it's also, hurting him at the same time, even though it's going to help him eventually.
Yeah. Could you imagine? The man went through the trauma of trying to take his own life. He freaking
shot himself in the head.
He literally blew his brains out. And Ty was like, okay, I need you. So I am going to bring you back from this coma that you're in and might not wake up out of. And I can only imagine how painful the process would be to go from, okay, my body might be doing things that are getting ready to shut me down and call it a life. And someone literally snatches you from that state back to the land of the living. That sounds very traumatic. And and that wasn't the only trauma Cord went through in this issue. He went through quite a bit of trauma. And then you saw how much it pained Ty to have to do it, which also begs the question at this point, how the heck strong is she?
Yeah. How powerful is she? She can bring someone back from a coma like that with some effort. She's able to do it. And we've gotten hints throughout the series, haven't we? That there's more to her than meets the eye. And this is just more of that, She was fighting the Hellions back in issue number 10.
Right.
And was able to do a good job fighting them too. It took the White Queen to take her down,
Right.
One of the most powerful telepaths in the Marvel universe it took to defeat her. So there's always been these hints that what's going on with Ty? There's more to her than just an old lady housekeeper,
And just more and more, the cat is basically out of the bag about her because, she kind of had just been, the old grandmotherly type, maid that was kind of in the background, and they hinted, and now at this point in last issue, she seemingly killed Silhouette.
Yeah,
she
blew her out the window, right? Yeah.
Yep. She the issue before, she appeared out of basically nowhere and like paralyzed. I think Miami was Cord's wife's name, to the point where she couldn't even move and killed her. So all of these things are happening, and it's like, okay, Ty clearly is a woman of power.
Right.
How?
She seems
why? Yes. And that seems to be a question that continues to be further revealed, and we have not yet found out the answer to that, but it is very, very intriguing.
Pretty horrendous reveal in this same scene, and that is, I mean, we already knew that she'd either killed or severely injured Miami, Miami, whatever her name is.
Miami, I believe.
Miami, thank you. Thank you. Mm-hmm. As you said, like blew Silhouette out the window. We don't know if she's alive or not at this point. Did all of that, but we also learned that Cord is Silhouette's father right here.
We learned we were told that last issue, but
I forgot.
But still, it's one heck. Now the revelation that was revealed in this issue, though, was that, I mean, just layers upon layers are being stacked here. The issue that was revealed was when Silhouette asked Cord who killed Night Thrasher's parents.
Yes, and that's the other big reveal here. Yeah,
and he said, "I did."
Yeah.
What?
And they just leave it at that too. Like the New Warriors have presumably learned a little more than that, because he probably told them more, but it just cuts to them going to Rage's house to get him to recruit him and get him to, use the Avengers airplane to get them to Cambodia. And so we don't find out the rest of what the New Warriors got told by Cord. Like, we're having to wait to see what the rest of the story is there. That blows me away.
Yeah, an incredible reveal there of him telling who the heck is like behind the whole thing. They have revealed some heaviness in this book, and this is just among those. I mean, so yeah, and so let's talk about, Silhouette was, she just appeared out of the shadows. And I'll tell you one thing, real quick, just a comment. I saw Seth Elmore came in just saying, just getting in better late than ever. Absolutely, Duke. Thank you so much for coming. We love to have you.
No worries, Seth.
And the thing that was, cool about that was Silhouette appeared out of the shadows, and she was all cut up with glass or everything, but she saved herself and came back to not the Ambrose building, but the warehouse that's by the pier or whatever. Yeah. And I know, it doesn't necessarily have anything to do with the comic book, but like, you have a woman, she showed up completely vulnerable and naked, and the first thing they thought of, well, let's cover her up and comfort her. And that is, first of all, freaking awesome. But second of all, that is, I would hope that is something that a human being would do for another human being, period. But it is a unsaid thing that's a sign of how cool of a friend that they are, that they saw that she was hurt and just instantly like, first, let's calm her down and then see what in the world was going on with her. I kind of saw that, and I just
put things in the right order. Yeah. I like that Namorita was the one who kind of went and grabbed her too, that it was her and not one of the guys. Namorita did that. Yeah. Before they covered her up. I thought that was really nice. And that was really I think appropriate,
Yep. Absolutely. A couple of comments. Scott was saying she, being Ty, as a stone cold killer, as she killed her daughter, Miami, and seemingly killed her granddaughter, Sil.
And rubs it in with Cord, poor bedridden Cord, brought out of a coma, helpless, could barely talk. And she's like, "Oh yeah, I killed your daughter. Yeah, I killed your wife. Bye." It's like evil, so evil.
And the reason that she told him that is
all the Warriors.
Exactly.
And then bring them to Cambodia too.
Yep. Because that's the only thing she cared about. She didn't care about bringing him back from the coma. She didn't she went through all of that pain to bring him back to help herself and only herself. To what end, we don't even know yet.
It begs the question, what is her ultimate goal? Yeah, we don't know yet.
It's clearly something so deep that she is willing to move heaven and earth for it. We don't know what it is yet, but my goodness.
Fabian does a great job kind of raising the stakes and kind of, showing us the mystery of what's happening, and making you just wonder what is going to happen. So pulls you along through the story. Absolutely. We mentioned their visit to Rage's house. Oh, here's a comment you pulled up. I like how Cord's slurred speech is written too. It adds to the drama and the tension of that reveal. Absolutely. As a reader, you have to do a little bit of kind of interpreting. Okay, what does that mean? But it's kind of like if you were hearing it too, like what is he saying? And even shows the characters kind of struggling to understand him. So I thought that was really well done too. That's kind of hard to do in a non-audio medium, and they did that nicely. Can we go to the part of the issue I love the most is when they bring Rage in, honestly. So another detail I love is when they go to Rage's house and Rage is, let's see if you can see this. He is eating at the table at his grandma's house. He lives with his grandma, and there are plates just like stacked up, like 9 plates and bowls on that table because Regis is like this huge dude. So she probably cooks like tons of food for him just to keep him fed. So it's a nice detail. He could have just been like chilling in a chair when they showed up. They didn't make that boring though. They told stuff about him, which I really liked. And I liked how, even though he's kind of in this giant muscle bound, huge, looks like an adult man body, he's supposed to be like, 12 or something, 14 years old, something like that. Yeah. Decent amount, younger than most of the other Warriors, save, I think, probably Speedball. But I like how they kind of show that through his dialogue, how young he is, because he seems very tentative. He's kind of like, oh, okay, I don't know, guys. Should we really do this? Like, there's a lot of that coming out of him. And I'm like, he kind of seems like a tentative, like preteen boy, in his dialogue. And I like that.
I just went to a mini comic book convention here in Charlotte and just happened to be flipping through some dollar issues. I think they were dollar issues. And it was some early Avengers run about the 300s. And Rage was featured in some of those. Rage was on several of the covers.
His first appearance.
Yeah. His first appearance was in the Avengers, and he wasn't a team member. He was considered an interim team member, but I mean, man, you going out on missions, you're an Avenger in my eyes.
Doing everything an Avenger does. Yeah.
And maybe I think what happened was at some point, Captain America found out that he was a 13-year-old boy and was like, no, I don't care if you're basically a version of the Hulk. We're not sending you out on missions. Like go to jail for that. Like, yeah. So it is cool that, like, I mean, what else is a 13-year-old boy going to do? I guess go back to grandma's house and chill out and just hang out there. Because, like, he even said at some point, like, when they're like, we kind of need your help for transportation, he was like, man, I don't even have a bike.
You're right.
So, like,
his driver's license here. Yeah, he's a probationary member. He's a member in training. At the time, they were kind of like, because you're a minor, we can't have you be a full member and what have you.
Right.
And that kind of thing. Yeah, and Scott in the comments actually brings up a really good point, and they do have a footnote in the issue about this, because if you're just reading the New Warriors, you're going to kind of wonder, how do they know Rage? Where did they meet him? And there was a 2-part Avengers story where they fought the Sons of the Serpent and the Hate Monger, and that's where the New Warriors met Rage. The New Warriors guest starred in that 2-part Avengers story. Nice. And I think there's even a little thing where they're about to part ways, and Night Thrasher's kind of like, hey, if you're ever looking for another team to join, give us a call. He kind of slips that in there in Rage's ear, before they part ways. So that's how they intersected. And nice. This is a nice callback to that. They already know each other, which is cool.
See, I did not know that. I have not read that issue of the Avengers, and now I kind of wish that I could have kept flipping through those Avengers and would have found it, because that would have just be a cool little New Warriors note to have.
Also, that 2-parter with the Hate Monger and all that, where the New Warriors meet Rage, also written by Fabian. Fabian also wrote that story. That
Very
came
nice.
very short Avengers run by Larry Hama, I think it was. That's where Rage got introduced, though. That's where he first came out.
Nice.
I do like how they bring Darkhawk into the story too. Unless you have more to say about them recruiting.
Go for it, Jason.
Nova's juggling cars in this wrecked car lot, and that's how they draw Darkhawk in. We know he hangs around this neighborhood, so Nova, you go do that, and it works. Darkhawk hears about this and says, "What's going on? What's Nova doing?" That's how they draw Darkhawk in.
I tell you what, I like that a little bit better because they brought Darkhawk in the book one time. And it was a misunderstanding, and he kind of fought Namorita to a standstill, and then Speedball had to come in as like, why are y'all fighting? Like, chill out. Like, Speedball had to be the adult on that. So, that he was brought in for that. So I do appreciate at least that they just kind of like, all right, we know where this guy operates. We've heard about him. Let's at least go and try and get his attention. And since they had a little bit of history and said, hey, we kind of need your help, let's join up. Scott makes a great comment about Rage. We can keep talking about Darkhawk in a second, but just saying Avengers, let's make a character that embodies all the stereotypes of the angry black man, and he can speak jive, and we can call him Rage. Fabian, no. And I mean, obviously Fabian was great for that with all the characters of putting those nuances in there. And man, we have just really gotten into learning a little bit about Elvin Halliday. I believe Rage's name is. Yes. And so this is the ground floor of it where, we learned that he's a young man being raised by his grandmother. And we are going to learn a lot more about Rage in the coming episodes of Come Out to Play, coming issues of New Warriors. So
lots of character development. Yeah,
absolutely. Did you have anything else to talk about Darkhawk?
No, not so much. Pretty straightforward. Just it's really amusing how they drew Darkhawk in, how they got his attention. Like, we'll just juggle cars until he shows up.
Real quick, a comic foil brings up a really good point of this is about what Speedball says. Like, we need your help to stop an 80-year-old woman from killing Thrash and Nova and taking over the world.
It's like, over the world.
It's like you're too embarrassed to say it, right? It's like, I kind of
am. I thought that was funny too, but on the other hand, I was of two minds about it. The other half of my mind was kind of like, you got the characters making fun of their own premise of the adventure. You know what I mean? It's kind of like, how is the reader supposed to take it seriously if the characters are mocking it? On the other hand, it is kind of absurd, what's going on. So
right. I mean, it's the comic book world. So like, if I were like a normal guy, like in the Marvel universe, I might be weird. Like I might laugh and tell a story about like, you know what? And then like I was like committing this crime, and then I got like knocked out by a dude the size of an ant.
Yeah, right.
Not what?
Yeah,
right. Yeah. So like, I mean, like there are crazy things that happen, and now you have this powerful 80-year-old woman, doing God knows what. So
yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah.
So we've covered a lot for the book. The only other thing that I wanted to mention is I thought that it was, two things, actually. One was just the escape from Avengers Mansion of how they broke out of it. And I actually like how that was played. Where they had to sneak in with the flimsiest of excuses.
We're gonna work out together, yeah.
And so where even like the guy was like, no, you're not about.
Like, are those the new Warriors with you? He's like, yeah, it's okay if they come in.
Yeah, and like, you're not about to steal a Quinjet, are you?
Like that, yeah.
Maybe. And even they were like, I don't feel good.
Opens the hangar doors, and like they're like, why are you opening the hangar doors, Rage? He's like, for some fresh air.
Yeah, and the whole thing was very teenagery.
Yes,
which is the New Warriors. Very gray lines, right? Like they had to go to Cambodia, and they had no real way to do it.
No resources.
And they could have gone to the Avengers and said, just like, what Speedball and Nova's like, we need help stopping our former housemate from taking over the world. No, you don't believe us. Like no one's gonna believe that. So we need to steal this, and so we stole it, and we were successful in stealing it, but we don't exactly feel good about it.
Yeah, they feel pretty crappy stealing from a fellow superhero team. Now, again, people that did them no harm. They're doing them harm. They're taking their stuff. They're wrecking their property. Cool moment when they walk into Avengers headquarters. And if you can see this, they're walking in that very top panel where they're walking past like the wall of pictures of past Avengers. There's all these like this hall of like heroes basically. And they're just kind of looking at like, oh, look at that. That's really cool. It really juxtaposes. The Avengers are like this established team with a big membership, history behind them. The New Warriors are just like these new guys. They are the the neophytes. They are the kids, and they're kind of coming in and seeing this and being like, whoa, look at that. So it's a cool juxtaposition, but it's really ironic because this is the issue where the team starts to expand and you get more members, other than Silhouette joining a while back. But this is where Rage and Darkhawk come in. The team's starting to get bigger. Their associates and their membership is growing. And so it's kind of ironic that it's kind of like, oh, yeah, you guys are becoming a little bit more like the Avengers, in some respects in this moment, in this issue. So that was something pretty cool that I noticed.
Yep. A few comments. New Warriors Talk, which says, yeah, the whole scene was so great, funny, authentic to the characters, and then somber repercussions. Yeah, very hashtag New Warriors, right? Like there was so much that scene just fully encompasses what the heck the New Warriors are all about. You have to make some decisions, even though they're not the most popular ones or the most easy ones to make. But you have to do them because it was the right thing to do at the time. Scott O'Neill says it was the culmination of a bunch of earlier notes too when they tried calling the FF and the Avengers for help during the Star Thief story. Neither was around. Very, very true. So a comic book mentions it's all guys though. Where are the Wasp, Scarlet Witch, and Black Widow?
Good point. Where's Captain Marvel? Where's Monica Rambeau?
In retrospect, they probably should have left the Scarlet Witch off.
This is a lot of props later, doesn't she?
Yeah, she was problematic a little bit later on.
But to your point, they did leave all the female Avengers off the wall, but the wall extends, so maybe there's more there, But yeah, they could have shown one or two.
And the only thing that I wanted to mention, and if there's anything you want to mention, Jason, let me know. But just right at the end, where they kind of fight the name of it, the Dragon's Breath cult.
The Dragon's breath, like wide breath,
yes, like the expansion.
Expansive,
yes, all of it.
Yes. The building was giant, like that.
Yes. Yep. So the Dragon's Breath cult, and then
Firewall. Kind of pathetic, by the way. These ninjas, like they're kind of built up, like these are really deadly, and then the folding circle just like annihilates these guys, and I'm like, oh man.
Yeah, quickly too. But at the same time, I mean, these are superpowered people, with the exception of Night Thrasher. Well, no, Midnight's Fire does not have a superpower. I don't believe.
He's kind of faster and stronger than the normal man, but that's about it. He doesn't have any other powers. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. By the way, since I use his name again, Midnight's Fire was a prototype for Snake Eyes. They eventually changed the name. So they did that, and they cleared off, and they have reached the temple that we hadn't figured out what's going on. And Night Thrasher very astutely wonders, who are these guards, and why are they wearing my armor?
Yeah.
What? And that's how it ends there. And I thought that was interesting. Like the whole time, like the left hand is kind of saying these kind of secret things like, all right, this temple is where the folding circle comes and then mysteries, to fulfill the pact, and the mysteries are revealed. And it's like, okay. Like, are we going to actually see some concrete evidence of this? Here we go. Yep. Here's a temple. And these temples are all dressed like Night Thrasher for some reason.
He's like temple guardsmen. Yeah. It leaves an intriguing mystery. It's like, what the heck is going on? It's cool.
Yeah. And Scott had a funny joke here about that was probably Cambodian for husky jeans. A Cambodian parent, no, you aren't fat. You just have dragon's breath. I I want to, take responsibility for, turning you guys into a bunch of punsters. I just now turned the banner, by the way, the story review. If Jared's watching, he's probably shaking his head. But you know what, Jared's the one that usually handles this. And, I'm doing the best that I can. Oh, there we go. Pat Sampson with another pun. Midnight's Fire, a great stocking stuffer gift. So, yes, we are
Thanks,
full
Pat.
of
That's a good one.
endless puns for Midnight's Fire. Jason, is there anything... Pat, thank you for showing up. Also, we appreciate you too. Is there anything else that you wanted to cover as far as the book goes?
Oh, let's see. I don't think so. Just a little side note. Obviously, the Peggy Carter in this issue is very different than the Peggy Carter we've seen in the MCU. This is a Peggy Carter that is aged into the present day. And like the movie version did as well, but this is a Peggy Carter that's still, vital. And this is an era where the Avengers had a support staff. I thought it was kind of cool that they showed a couple of them, Michael O'Brien and Peggy Carter in this issue. So,
absolutely.
Yeah.
I am pretty bereft of early Avengers knowledge. So other than Jarvis, of course. So I didn't even know that the Avengers had a staff like that.
Yeah, for a brief period of time, there was a civilian staff, and they kind of just disappeared with no explanation after a while. But they were around in the early 90s. So it's cool.
Trey Black is here to keep us in order.
Oh, my.
How about the pre-trial Marvel Boys stuff?
We did gloss over that, didn't we?
Well, doesn't that show you how much stuff there was in 22 pages?
There's a lot packed in here. Yeah.
Looking back at this, great catch, by the way, Trey.
Mm-hmm.
Looking back at this, I thought, wow, what a smart reason to leave Firestar behind.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And not only was she there to support Vance, not only would she probably not have been any good on this mission whatsoever because she was thinking about Vance, and who knows how much of a disaster that would have turned out to be. But then you had a lawyer's son give a very credible reason as to why someone from the New Warriors needed to stay behind as a character witness to represent all of them.
I find that really intriguing. Yeah, I thought that was cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You think about Speedball. I mean, he comes off as like kind of the team goofball, but it's like if he's at home with his parents and they're talking shop, they're talking about work, he's listening, and he understands what they're saying, and here he is bringing up legalese, legal facts, and actually being very helpful in this regard. He's not just like this bouncing goofball, he's actually very smart.
Oh, absolutely. And while Marvel Boy wasn't pictured in the book, it was discussed. And, it was just interesting where one thing they mentioned was that there are a couple of people for the jury that they waived, that Foggy waived because they had superhero experience. And then they were like, is that smart? And then, of course, and Angelica just like, what? No, was that a bad idea? I don't know. Like, she was just a ball of emotion.
Very true to life.
Yeah. Understandably so, basically, even though they haven't necessarily called themselves that, her boyfriend is like on trial, going to be on trial for attempted for murder. Like,
prison. Maybe Rita tells her at one point in this issue, like, Angelica, you've got to accept the fact that he might go to prison. There's a chance this might happen,
Yeah.
And wow, that's really hefty stuff.
Yeah, and as correct as she was, still, I mean, that's a bitter and tough
kind of harsh. Swallow. Here's a brick of reality I'm going to toss at you there. Yeah.
I mean, I thought that Nita was being very nice. Not nice, but as she couched it as, right? She was being a friend. She was really being a friend by her. A couple of comments, like, since we just talked serious, let's go back to being funny again. Comic Fool says, Midnight's Fire, visit to the toilet in the middle of the night after eating chili for dinner.
After that late night Taco Bell dinner.
Is that too much? Nope, absolutely not. Right up our alley of immaturity.
There are no boundaries.
And Scott mentions, love that moment for two reasons. The response from Darkhawk, whose mom is a lawyer, also very true. They bonded as lawyers' kids. And two, it shows that he does listen to his dad. The relationship between Speedball and his dad is such a huge part of this series for me. I actually love issue 27 because of one page with them. I don't remember that page, so I'm looking forward to rereading that. And I will definitely keep that in mind. And Scott, of course, I hope you're here for Come Out to Play 27.
It's great stuff. I like the Speedball Darkhawk bonding, overall too, because, they're bonding over being lawyers, kids. They're also both young heroes, maybe similar ages, but they're both heroes that like transform and kind of to a different form when they become their superhero self. And they're comparing notes like, does your voice always sound like that?
Yes.
Only when you're a superhero. Oh, no, it isn't always like this, And I thought that was cool too.
Have we seen Darkhawk in a comic? Not comic, in a cartoon anywhere? Have we heard Darkhawk's voice?
His voice? I don't know if we have.
I don't think we have. Same thing with Speedball.
Keep us honest. Yeah, they might tell us if he's appeared anywhere. Yeah. They know the Speedball. How are they supposed to sound? They have these beach balloons. And what is that supposed to mean,
Right. I would love to see how that's interpreted.
We have a kind of echo. Yeah, I don't know.
We have a few comments before we move on to Ultimate Warrior and Warrior. Scott also mentions, love that. I mentioned that part. Excuse me. New Warriors Talk said, it blew my mind that he might actually go to jail. It seemed like it could never happen, especially as someone who grew up on 80s cartoons where the cast of characters almost never changed. Very true. And Scott mentioned, we see little moments of Nita stepping into the leadership void that was left with Thrash gone, and Trey Black adds to that. Not that it worked out well for her. We're not going to talk about that.
Time for that later. We'll burn that bridge when we get there.
New Warriors Talk mentions his voice. No, he had a cameo in the X-Men animated series. Who was that? New Warriors Talk, was that?
Darkhawk.
Darkhawk had a cameo in the X-Men animated series?
I think that's who they mean.
Okay.
Darkhawk.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Oh, they both had cameos in the X-Men animated series.
Oh.
But they didn't speak, so we don't know.
Huh, I didn't remember that. Oh, and since I mentioned that I don't remember 27, I now remember that cover, though, because Scott says most folks kind of dismissed 27 as filler because it was an Infinity War tie-in. A good writer knows how to tie in like the complete, their storylines and then just have to do the obligatory stuff too. Fabian, I'm pretty sure did a good job at it.
Absolutely.
Man, we have talked quite a bit. So I like to keep this about an hour. So let's talk not very quickly. We can take our time, but about Ultimate Warrior. Who was the new warrior? Who was the character in the book that stood out the most to you? Scott. Excuse me, Jason.
That's okay. They both have 5 letters. I get it.
That's a new one for you. I called you Scott.
We're circling right back to the beginning, Delvin, talking about our names. We end as we began. I think for me, Ultimate Warrior is, someone hit the nail on the head. Namorita stepping up to be the team leader. She's pushing things forward. Silhouette also is, they're both kind of saying, here's what we got to go do, come on, everybody. Both being very aggressive, both being, very forceful. And rallying the others, saying, "Hey, here's the direction we need to go in, guys." And so, with that in the leadership void, Namorita is kind of as that natural, strong personality is stepping up and doing that. So, Ultimate Warrior for me.
I'm not going to get to say it too much, so I'm going to give Ty the Ultimate Warrior. She advanced the action. She brought back Cord into play. And I think mentioned his name was Andrew too for the first time. I think this was the first time that his name was mentioned, his first name, because military guy just went by Cord. She almost resurrected him. He wasn't dead, but he was close, and did it to further the action in a way that we don't quite know yet. Because consider that she killed 2 people of her own blood, literally killed her daughter. Tried to kill her granddaughter, but brought Cord back to life.
Yeah.
And we know the reason why, at least part of it, the reason why was because she needed the new warriors in play. Why is that the case? We don't know yet, but I'm going to give her Ultimate Warrior because of that reason. Now, who are you worried about the most coming for this issue moving forward?
Yeah. So my ultimate warrior is Rage, because what's going to happen to Rage? Because he's even though he's like a member in training, probationary Avenger, he's still an Avenger. It's a big deal, and he's aided and abetted in stealing a Quinjet and and the wrecking of the ceiling of the hangar. So what's going to happen to Rage now? He kind of hit the big time, right out of the gate of his superhero career, and it's like, what's going to happen to him now? How much trouble is he in when they get back? The others don't have that team affiliation with the Avengers, but he does. So what's going to happen to the poor guy?
I mean, that couldn't do you any favors, right? Yeah, probably not. Like, man, if I'm gonna cheat somewhat, and I'm worried about all the Warriors, even the Warriors. Worried about the Warriors, because like every one of them, doesn't matter which team they are on, whether or not it's Night Thrasher in Cambodia, like not knowing exactly what the heck he has gotten himself into, or the rest of the team, or for that matter, Marvel Boy and Firestar, all of them are just up in the air right now to such a degree that you don't know where all the pieces are going to land, which is emblematic of a very, very good story.
Yeah, they're all in peril, every single one of them. That's a really good point.
And so with that, we are going to do some ratings 1 to 10 on New Warriors 22. We talked about a lot, man, but let's see what you think about it. What would you rate New Warriors on a scale of 1 to 10? New Warriors 22.
On the basis of the fact that, it propels the story forward, all the things we said, the revelations, the shocking revelations, Cord killed Night Thrasher's parents, Ty has killed, maybe killed Silhouette and Silhouette's mother, and Ty is manipulating everything so they all come to where she wants them to go. It propels the story along. Fantastic use of Darkhawk and Rage, but not out of the blue, based on other associations that established before, building on that history. I give it a 9 out of 10. I think it's a propulsive issue. It really makes you want to know what happens next. I remember buying these in real time and being like, what's going to happen?
Right.
Looking forward to the next one. Absolutely.
I think I'm going to go full 10 out of 10. Like, and here's like my rationale behind it. So many, like, first, I mean, you've got great artwork and you have a great story. And it was such a great story that we've talked about all of these things that happened in 22 pages of story. And there were revelations, but there are also, it's like, yep, okay, yeah. This isn't just one simple onion, y'all. We have to peel back layers. We are not done yet. This is just round one of the layers. We are peeling back on it, and it still was a captivating read. There's plenty of action. There's plenty of intrigue. I mean, I don't think you could ask for more out of a 22-page comic book of that. I mean, these men were in their bag when it came to this, and it was fantastic, and I have no problem giving it a 10 whatsoever. A comic foil agrees with you. Jason gave it a 9, says just good stuff throughout, and everybody gets some excellent screen time. New Warriors Talk says, I give it I don't know what this means, New Warrior Talk. There's a triangle out of like a diamond shape. I am not smart enough to know what that means, so you're going to have to translate it for me.
Is that a folding circle joke? You fold a diamond, it becomes a triangle? Yeah.
I do not know. Trey Black gives it a 9, says a great setup and puts you on the edge of your seat for what's next. Jim says it's a 9 with a great story yet to be finished. New Warriors Talk says I think 18 and 20 were 10s for me. This maybe was a 9, but every month at this point was at the peak. And this is what I told Jared. Jason, like this run from 18 leading up, like at that point, like the creative team had just hit their stride, and boy, this is
the foot's on the gas pedal at this point.
Foot's on the gas pedal. This is some of the greatest storytelling you're going to find. I mean, especially within the pages of the New Warriors. I don't want to forget Scott, who says 18 and 25 is one of the 2 runs in Volume 1, where every single issue is a 10 for me. Individually, each issue is absurdly good, but the way they knit the bigger story together takes the run to another level.
Masterful, especially for someone who wasn't like a uber experienced writer. He's doing a great job with this.
Yeah, just I think everybody is highly complimentary of it, and I think that there is a reason for that. So, very well discussed, Jason, my friend. And with that, that is the show. Please come back and join us for the next episode where we discuss New Warriors 23, where more is revealed. Do you think they were lying when they called this nothing but the true storyline? They were not. They absolutely were not. And if you like to hear more from us, Longbox Crusade, y'all, we are everywhere. YouTube, which you're watching now, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. You look up Longbox Crusade, you will find us. We have a Patreon if you like to join us on that. $1 a month will get you there if you go find us on Patreon. We would love to have you. And man, I'm telling you, $1 a month will get you a lot of stuff. You can email us old school, contact@longboxcrusade.com. There's a banner that I'm not going to pull up, but if you want to call us, we have a phone number and you can leave us a message, even older school than email. 707-532-LBOX will get you there. So by all means, if you're enjoying the show, you want to leave us a voice message about that, please do that. And we can either play it on the show at some point or bring it up somehow. We'll figure out a way to do it. Jason, man, appreciate you being on. Like, use this time to hawk any stuff that you want to do.
First off, thanks for having me. I'm always happy to pinch hit when you need me to.
Appreciate it, man.
As some of you may have heard already, I am the author of a series of novels called The Magic Pen Adventures. They're for middle grade readers, and people who are kids at heart can also enjoy them. Monster Problems, Super Problems, and Time Problems. I am at work on a fourth one. Go to my website, www.jasonrlady.com. That's where you can learn more about my books as well as how to buy them. Holidays are right around the corner. If you need gifts for the young readers in your life or even for other folks that you know, it's not too late to do that. I'm on Twitter, Jason R. Lady. I'm on Instagram, Jason R. Lady Author. Facebook, Jason R. Lady Author as well. And you can follow me there to see what I am up to in my writing life.
Fantastic, dude. Again, thank you so much for being on the show and pinch hitting for us. Like, you did an awesome job. It was great talking with you. And great talking with everybody also who participated in the chat. Man, y'all are awesome. Y'all make this worth my month every time just to come here and have this conversation and know that there are other people out there who appreciate it too. One last joke from Scott, who says, you'll need several Corys if you want us to dial your 1-900 number. It's not a 1-900 number. It was an actual area code. We would never like call and seduce you to listen to Longbox Crusade. In any event, you can find me on Twitter, DEE_RAY1977. Instagram, I think it's Delvin Ray, DELVINRAY. I post about comic books and, you know, just random pictures of my face and stuff there. And I think that's it, everybody. Let's see if the script says anything else. Nope, other than the trailer, which is see y'all next time. And remember, be a hero to someone, if just to yourself. Go ahead, Jason. You're ready to do it. New Warriors, come out to play. Thanks for coming, everybody. Y'all have a good night.